Welcome back on our Easter edition of the GDFL Footy Show. No games on this afternoon in GDFL Footy, so what we thought we'd do is go through each team one by one, a bit of a report card after it's a 3-round Smithy where they've been going.
Thank you.
Correct. And see exactly what you think, how they're shaping up so far for 2011. We'll start off with the East Geelong Eagles, and they certainly have picked up a gun player in Lucas Murphy, including 11 goals last week. Smithy, I'll start with you. East Geelong travelling along pretty well?
Yeah, going along pretty well. They would have got a bit of a stir up at Invalid the week before, but I think look, I really can't see them. Well, until they play Bell Post Hill, that'll be the big test for them. But at the moment, they're playing some really good footy. They've got a good blend of some new blokes into the team. Their older blokes they've kept pretty handy. So, you know, Primke's still good down back, although I think he's had luxury of playing him up forward at some stage too through centre forward. The big scrubber didn't play against Invalid. He had the luxury of sitting down and watching that game. But I think they're going on really well. I just don't know who or where the loss is going to come from, but they'll definitely have one during the course of the year.
Where do you think they'll finish at the end of the season?
Oh, look, they're definitely top two side. I don't think they've got any further down than that top two position. But as I said, Bell Post still obviously still the side, in my view, that can beat them. But they're going on pretty well.
Jason, we had Chris Carl on the show a couple of weeks ago, and he had great aspirations for a much improved Geelong West. At this stage, things looking pretty grim out at the Church Street Oval.
I think so. We saw him a couple of weeks ago against the Belmont Lions, and I think that was one of the games they thought they might be able to win and snatch a victory, but unfortunately the Lions were too good. I think it's going to be a long, dark winter, unfortunately, for the Cheetahs. I think they're just missing a couple of key players. They need a key forward. They probably need another key midfielder, and might be able to snatch the odd victory here and there against one of the lower ranked teams, but I think it might be a long winter for the Cheetahs.
Stay with you, Jace. Bell Post Hill, last year's premiers, starting off the season in sensational fashion. 3 on the trot. Who's going to beat them?
I think they'd love the situation that they're the reigning premiers and they've probably got no publicity about the fact that they are and that they've started 3-0. I think East Geelong's got most of the publicity so far, so I suspect Brent Gergich and the coaching staff up there would be pretty happy about that. I mean, it's as you were, really. Top 2, they'll probably finish. Round 11, pencil it in, match of the day already, Bell Post Hill and East Geelong. It should be a rip snorter. I think that they're going along nicely. They've looked as though they've been able to replace a couple of key players from their premiership team last year, and they're going okay.
Anarchy going all right, Dale. Probably a great start to their season. Okay, they weren't disgraced against Bell Post Hill, but started off the season well. They knocked off North Geelong and knocked off Werribee out of the duck pond. Gibbsy's got them playing pretty well. Yeah,
look, I speak to David and Dan pretty regularly at home because they live out at Bannockburn, but I think their bonus this year is that they've been able to get players to training. I think that's been a big problem from out there for a while. They've stipulated to the players if they're not prepared to put the work in, they're not going to play them. They've picked up a bloke called named Wilson plays, and the ruck was pretty good the first game, didn't play the second game. They still managed to beat Werribee up there, and obviously close back on the side this week. But look, they have got a good nucleus. Berg's tremendous through the middle of the ground. Vasika's good through the middle of the ground. Yeltsin Pertic, a North Geelong boy, played well in the first game. So just their recruits are going along pretty nice, and their back half are really holding up, and I think that's probably been the positive thing to them, that if that back end can hold up, they'll kick enough score to win a lot of games. So
will they make the finals?
I reckon they're an outside chance now. At the start of the year, I didn't think they could, but having watched them the first game and then beating Werribee up there, I think that 5th position's beckoning for a club like Anarchy, Invalid, that type of group of teams.
Winchelsea out of the Gun Club, sort of starting off pretty slowly, Jace. Are they going to improve from this point on, do you think, or stay the way they are?
Well, I think there's obviously room for improvement. They had a good win against the Belmont Lions. It's been a pretty close game. They're going to have to be good at home. I suspect they're going to have to be good there. They'll push a few teams. As we saw the week before, they were pretty well with the Magpies and with North Geelong for a half, but then fell away. So once again, I think there'll be 3 or 4 teams at the bottom of the ladder will be fighting each other for a few victories through the season. So let's hope they can get some improvement.
Belmont Lions definitely improved. They did have a win last week against Geelong West, but they struggled a little bit against Winchelsea, but they weren't disgraced up.
Yeah, no, look, 9 points out there is not a bad effort, and it's obviously got a pretty good base now. I suppose we speak about regularly, the turnover of players they have from year to year is pretty large with the number of kids they have coming through there, but if they're able to string that group of players together for 1 or 2 years, then they might have something up there. They got a good structure. I like Suresh Nair. He played pretty well the first game. Good, sure hands, and he's a tall lad. So he's pretty good. Through the middle of the ground, they work okay. They've got 2 big lumbering ruckmen in there, but they seem to get the job done for them. I think they'll win a few games along the way. Just how far they can go, I'm not too sure, but I would think that they'll win more than they have in recent seasons.
And they've got fabulous Freddie Logan, the married man up at full forward up there. How can they go wrong?
Well, Freddie
Sensational.
moves pretty well across the half forward. We wrapped him up the first week, and I don't think his legs were quite stable last week, but he'll be back and finding his feet again this week. I would think
we'll
after
hope
the
so.
bye. Give him a week off. Beautiful, back into it.
Jason, say something nice about North Geelong. Going along okay with Pulbury going well at 8 goals, 26 goals for the season so far. Obviously in sensational form of the Magpies.
Well, the only good thing about North Geelong is that you're not president of the club anymore. That's fantastic. They've worked so well since you're not president.
Oh, shut up.
Look, they started flat. They were terrible the first week. They were, I think Frank would have been really disappointed in their performance against Anarchy, but they've picked it up since then. And they're going to have to get one or two more tricks up forward. I think we've spoken about that a couple of weeks in a row. Paul's a great player and he's kicked 26 goals and he'll kick 100. Don't worry about that. But is it enough for them to make the top 2 or 3? They might need to get a couple more. I think they've missed De Blasio a bit more than they actually may have thought.
Jared Bryant missed him. He's got
And Jared Bryant and Watts as well. But I think De Blasio probably the one just because he created a contest at centre half forward. If they can get that, they get Jamie Weiss back into action in the ruck. They're going to be around abouts there again.
Tommy Tigers struggling compared to years gone by, Jace?
They are. I mean, they missed the finals first time last year in 16 years. They've had a change of coach. They're back to the glory days with Christian Highland. They've got Tim Gardner back there. They've got a few older players back there like Russell Grigg. I think it might take them a few weeks to gel. They're going to be competitive, but whether they make the finals, I think they might struggle. They had a good win against Bannockburn, but form for Bannockburn hasn't been great either. So they really need to knuckle down between sort of weeks 5 and 12 and see if they can get 4 or 5 wins and sort of get back into the pack a bit. So they might just miss it, I think.
We're always running out of time. Werribee Central's not too bad at the moment. Will they make the finals? Will they make the top part of the finals?
Oh, yeah, they'll make the finals. There's no doubt about it. I suppose you don't hear much about them over the summer months. They're just out of range, I suppose, for most of the local blokes around here. But they've started off pretty nice. They'd be disappointed with that loss to Anarchy, and I'm pretty sure, speaking to Grubby last week, that after the game, David Leach gave them a pretty big payout in the way they went about it. So, look, I would expect they bounced back on Saturday, beat Bannockburn quite convincingly, and as I said, had a bit of expectations for them as well. But I think Werribee will be in that top 3.
And speaking of Bannockburn, your mob, just a pretty indifferent start to the season.
I don't know whether you'd call it different, but it's pretty ordinary.
Pretty ordinary,
yeah. At this stage, you sit back and you look at the recruiting they did off-season. They didn't really need to pick up a lot of players, I didn't think, but they just haven't gelled and they're playing without a lot of confidence. And as a side playing with no confidence is not going to win too many games. So need to get back just the basic game of football, get back, win the ball and start from there again, start fresh.
And then Inverloy and Cry, of course, we spoke about at the start of the segment. They have 94.7 match of the day last week. No footy on this afternoon in the GDFL, so obviously get out and get in the garden or do something and run around have an Easter egg hunt or something. Do you have an Easter egg hunt at your place, Jace?
Of course, we've got kids. You've got to do that. It's a prerequisite.
Exactly. Yeah,
So I might just take some of these, actually.
Do all that, but Rosemary won't let me participate, which is a little bit rough. Yeah, there they are.
I'll take
There's more bunnies there than you'll find at a normal committee meeting at most of the footy clubs. Have a look at them. And it'll be fantastic. So have a great Easter, everybody. We look forward to seeing you again next Saturday morning when we resume our round of footy again with a couple of big games coming up. Have a great Easter the rest of the time. Dale, you have a great Easter with your kids.
Going away yesterday. Tomorrow.
Can't remember when I'm going away, but I'm going away.
You know what day it is. You've been mucking around with that chook. I reckon you fall in love with the chook, I reckon.
I might take him away with me.
Have a great Easter, everybody. We'll see you all again next Saturday morning. Thanks for your company. Bye for now.
Let's get into it all until the final.